Hi guys, welcome back to another video. I'm Shah and this is Thoroughly Enjoyed Books. There very nearly wasn't a video today because I've had no motivation whatsoever to film or to read or to really do anything. As you may have seen on my channel, on Friday I posted a video about books that might be comforting for you, that might cheer you up, and I talked about how a lot of people are feeling particularly down at the minute and just feel like there's no end to this whole coronavirus thing. And then today in the UK, a new tier system was announced, basically splitting the UK into three and different areas having different restrictions, which has kind of been the case for the last few months. I live in Leicestershire, not inside the city. I moved to a village just outside the city during lockdown, so the local lockdown has been very odd for me because it hasn't actually applied to me, but it has applied to my boyfriend, and it's all very confusing. And these new tier systems are just making it even more confusing. But the one clear thing is that my sister can't come and visit me at the end of this month like I had planned. So it's been a long time since I've seen anybody, and I just wanted to come on here and talk a little bit, not about my mental health, because I don't think that's particularly helpful at the minute, because I like to be quite positive when I'm talking about my mental health. I like to talk about it in a way that's, you know, even though it's not always easy, as you know, I live with bipolar disorder, I don't like to come on here and just show you how bad things are getting. And things aren't that bad right now. They're not. I wouldn't say I'm depressed right now. I wouldn't say I'm in a low period. I would just say that I'm feeling a bit shit and it's circumstantial, and circumstantial means it's easier to manage. So I don't think I'm on a downward spiral right now. But I wanted to come on here and just talk a little bit about some good things that are going on. So I know I've talked a little bit there about things not being the greatest, but there are a few good things that are happening as well. I mean, there's always good things, and even on the days when I can't be bothered to do my hair or makeup, which is most days at the minute, there's always something good in that day. And even though I'm not reading as much, I am trying to switch up my hobbies a little bit so that I'm not just sleeping. And I think the last couple of days I have done a lot of sleeping. I had a few days off work last week and I wanted to do some studying and I wanted to do some writing and I wanted to do something a little bit productive, but I didn't. I lay in bed and before I knew it, it was bedtime again. So the last couple of days I've been doing things, no matter how lazy they seem, just to make it seem like I am doing something, even if that is watching TV. I want to talk about the TV shows that I've been watching because I very rarely watch TV, as I'm sure you're aware. I didn't turn my TV on at all until April this year, so between January and April it wasn't on whatsoever. I had a bit of a binge of Christmas films at the end of December, and that was pretty much all I had watched at the last 6 months of last year as well, that and Stranger Things. I'm very much a comfort TV watcher. I tend to watch a couple of shows repeatedly because I enjoy them, because they mean a lot to me, because they comfort me. And for me, that is Stranger Things, which I can easily spend full weekends watching, and Normal People, which I have watched about 4 times all the way through now. People have talked a little bit in the past about comfort TV shows and anxiety. And basically it's that people like to rewatch the same thing because they don't have this anxiety of what's going to happen, which maybe explains why, even though my favourite TV shows aren't like happy, light-hearted shows, I find them comforting because I know what is going to happen in the end of Stranger Things. I know that the tension is there, but in the end everything's going to be fine. That is usually my comfort TV show, but I haven't been watching it. Instead, this last weekend I watched 3 TV shows, and by the TV shows I mean the full series. Only one series of each of these shows is out, or I only watched one series because that's all I had to watch, but I love them all. The first is Ratched. This is a prequel to One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, which I haven't read but is a book set in a mental institution. I'm going to be doing my dissertation at university on queer possibilities in the institution, I think. I'm not 100% sure, but that is my current idea and I'm really looking forward to doing that. And I somehow managed to make this TV show count as dissertation research, even though it wasn't at all, but it had queer people, in an asylum, so I counted it. And this is, I think it's 8 episodes, and it's kind of a psychological thriller horror, which isn't my thing, starring Sarah Paulson, who plays a nurse, Nurse Ratched, who is a famous character from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and it tells her story before the book and how she got to where she is. I'm not 100% sure if the backstory came from the author of that book or if this is a new invention, but I flew through it. It was quite unsettling, a little bit disturbing. It has some of my biggest fears. Something I hate in horror is gore. I don't like horror that has a lot of gore in, and this does. And my biggest phobia is forced amputation, people chopping their arms off or getting their arms chopped off. This has that, which was horrible. It has drug use, it has sexual assault, murder, a lot of really disturbing things, very poor representation of mental health actually, but I really enjoyed it. And it's one of those where, as an advocate for mental health and someone who talks about it a lot, I get very conflicted because it does very much rely on stereotypes of mental illness. It's a horror based in an asylum. How cliche can you get? There was something about it that I found really enjoyable, and I think the fact it was set in the past just really helped make it so. So I really enjoyed that one. The next was trash, but I devoured it in a single day, and that is Emily in Paris. This has got Lily Collins in as Emily, who is an American girl who gets a new job in Paris, and she doesn't speak any French. She wasn't planning on moving there in the first place, and every single boy she ever meets in Paris seems to fall in love with her, and I mean every boy. The first episode, somebody hits on her, she breaks up with her boyfriend, and then she gets hit on, and she tells him that she's not interested. She doesn't sleep around, which no issues if you do, but she doesn't do that. That's not the kind of person that she is. And then every episode after that, she has a new fella, and it's crazy. She very much falls in love with one of the first friends she makes, who is a chef who lives in the flat below her, who actually has a girlfriend, and she befriends the girlfriend, and then there's a love triangle. And are we not past love triangles at this point? Apparently not. And there's cheating left, right and centre. So like I said, it's trash, it's problematic AF, but again, really enjoyable. If you just want to put something mindless on in the background because you're feeling crap, that is a great one to watch because you don't need brain cells. And then the last show that I watched was The Haunting of Bly Manor, which I'm not going to talk too much about in this video because I am going to do a horror wrap-up at the end of the month. I'm not including Ratched in that because I'm doing a specific kind of horror, but I love this. Again, it's a sequel, kind of, to The Haunting of Hill House, which was an adaptation of Shirley Jackson's The Haunting of Hill House. The Haunting of Bly Manor is based on The Turn of the Screw by Henry James, and this is just a typical ghost story, and it's told in very much the same way as the previous one, where we pretty much get all of our story for the first maybe 3 or 4 episodes from our protagonist, and then we get an episode from each other major character's point of view, and I just really love it. And it means this show is watchable even if you don't like horror, because maybe the first 2 or 3 episodes can be quite tense and suspenseful and scary, but then in the last half of the series it isn't like that at all, because you're just getting the story, and I love that form of storytelling. It's just so interesting, and it makes it so that you get that fear, you get that tension, but it's not prolonged and you're not constantly on the edge of your seat. And personally, as someone who isn't a horror fan, I love that. So those are some things that I've been watching. I've also been playing a lot of The Sims. So I currently have all of the expansion packs for The Sims 4 on my laptop. I have a few of the games packs. So I have Strangerville. I have the new Star Wars one, which I haven't been able to play yet because basically my laptop has 0 memory left and I have to keep uninstalling The Sims when I edit a video because there's just no memory to store them all on. Found out I actually had 2 versions of The Sims 4 downloaded onto my system, so I had a lot of memory being used up by that, so I've finally sorted that out. I have about 7 gig left on my laptop to edit videos, which isn't a lot at all. I now can play the Star Wars game and I want to dedicate a full evening to that, and I don't know when that's going to be because I've got a lot of uni work to do this week, and then hopefully I can relax at the weekend. Maybe I do have another week coming up in November, where I'm going to have some time off, and I'm also going to do NaNoWriMo this year. Maybe. But I've been loving it, and just making different families on The Sims and trying to make their generations or try and sort out some of the backstories on The Sims 4, because there's a lot of families on The Sims 4 that have been in previous Sims games that have just not had the backstory that they deserve. I've been loving that. I'm also thinking about getting back into Animal Crossing. In April, May and June, I lived on that game. I was on it from dusk till dawn, dawn till dusk, and was just in love with it. It was so helpful for my mental health. And then I just put it aside and haven't picked it back up, which I knew I would do. It's one of the reasons it took me so long to get a Switch in the first place, and one of the reasons I got the Lite, is it a Lite, rather than the actual console, because I knew I wouldn't use it much. I want to get that back out because I've seen everybody's Halloween and autumn themed towns and they just look so cute, so I want to, that's something I haven't done yet, but I want to do game wise. And I've also been playing a lot of card games with my boyfriend. We've been doing jigsaw puzzles, we have been doing Trivial Pursuit. I want to get a few more board games and play them. Bananagrams is one that we quite enjoy. I want to get a traditional Scrabble board because I haven't played proper Scrabble in years and I want to. That's something I'm so excited to do. Like I said, reading wise hasn't been the greatest, but I'm back at uni. I need to get through my uni books, and thankfully a lot of them are quite short, so I plan on starting tomorrow getting a proper routine for my reading, even if it's just an hour in the evening, half an hour in the morning, something like that, because I can read quite fast, so I should be able to do it. One thing I have got coming up this month that I'm really excited about is a buddy read that I'm doing with Lois from Locan Reads, and there's a bunch of other people who I leave links to down below who are taking part. I can't remember who it is off the top of my head, unfortunately, sorry. I'm going to be reading The Black Flamingo by Dean Atta, which is a book told in verse. I got the hardback, I caved and got the hardback, and it's such a dinky little hardback. Look how small that is. Compare that to Here's the Beehive, which is another, this is a small hardback anyway, and this one is a full hardback. It's just such a weird book, but I'm excited to read it, and I believe this is about a black teen drag queen, and I'm so excited about this. So the module at uni I'm doing is on queer fiction, so I'm really interested in reading a lot more queer and gender specific books, so this will be really interesting. Like I said, it's a young adult verse novel, and what I didn't know about this book is it's got like lots of little illustrations and like mixed media kind of things going on. I haven't shown you that very well, but there's like lists, black pages. It's you know, it's cute. I'll be doing buddy reads with a few people, and I'm really looking forward to that. I'll at least get something read this month. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about that has been cheering me up is I got a hamster. Now you might have noticed this if you follow me on Twitter or Instagram, or in my last video I mentioned it because she came out and said hi when I was filming. I did get myself a hamster. She's called Cornelia. She is a 3-month-old Syrian hamster and I'm in absolute love with her. I'm still taming her at the minute. I've not had a hamster, well, I've not had one ever. My brother had one when he was younger, but it wasn't mine. It lived with him and his mum. So I don't remember what it was like to have a hamster. And I did a lot of research, and I don't want to talk too much about her today, so I'm just going to put some pictures up and some little videos of her for you to watch, because I do plan on doing a full video on her. I want to introduce you to her when she's tame, when I can pick her up, when I'm happy with her cage, because I'm still learning how to do cage setup. She's got all the stuff she needs, she's got all the space that she needs, she's in a Dettol IKEA cabinet. I'm just not quite comfortable enough sharing that with you yet, but I will really soon. But having her has really helped me. It has cheered me up massively. She helps mental health. I have to care for someone, I have to feed her, and it reminds me to feed myself. I've just found, even only having her for the last week, my life has completely changed in like the best way possible. My landlord did agree to me getting her because my doctor did recommend I got one for my mental health, and with this ongoing isolation situation it just seemed like the best idea for me. I've wanted a pet for years. I wanted a cat, but my flat is too small for a cat and I wasn't really allowed a cat anyway, so I've got my hamster, and when I introduce you to her I'm sure you will love her as much as I do, and I can't wait to tame her and like play with her properly. But at the same time I love just watching her burrow in the bedding because it's just, it's so adorable. It's so adorable. I can't stop looking at her. So yeah, I just wanted to come on today and talk to you a little bit about things that have been cheering me up and making me happy. And I'm very aware that my demeanour in this video is a bit more chilled than normal, but I think this is how I normally am. I'm normally happy, but I think if I'm just sat talking to someone, I think this is normal. But yeah, so I've not been reading much. I've not got much to talk to you about. These are some things that have been making me happy. So I hope at the end of the day that you did enjoy this video. I can't wait to make more videos and I'm just feeling a bit more up to it in the future. I've got plenty of ideas. I just need to do the reading for them. As usual, I will leave my links down below to my Twitter and my Goodreads and all that good stuff. I'll leave a link to my hamster Instagram down there as well, so you can go follow her on her little journey. And I hope that you look after yourself, and I hope that you take care of yourself, and remember it's okay not to be okay and to just relax. So that's everything for today, guys, and I'll see you in another video very, very soon. Take care.